Good evening, Ms. Bell. How are you?
Getting you.
I'm okay. Um, I am here to do your supervision today, this evening. So, without further ado, let's just get started into it. Tell me about some things that you are experiencing or have gone through within the last week, want help dealing with, or you're undecided about, or whatever the case may be that you just want to discuss or talk about.
I guess lately it's been the issue as far as whether or not I want to continue at the job that I'm in now or, leave at the end of the school year and start fresh at another school. I think that's what I've been battling with lately.
So are you saying you're being overwhelmed and overworked with it?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about being overwhelmed and in what cases or instances instances that you feel that you're being overwhelmed. Give me some examples.
I guess when it comes to being overwhelmed, just doing a lot of things that I feel I should not be doing as a counselor, like when you know other people should be doing a certain job and then you're always getting called on to do it when you know that you have work that you have to get done, and it's okay with the person that's in charge to say, okay, well, I just need you to do this and get this done, but the person who really supposed to be doing the work is really just sitting back and not doing anything. So it just caused a lot of frustration on the job, and I'm just at the point where I'm just tired of it.
So what I hear you saying is that you're having to be doing other people's work, and you don't agree with it, and no one's being held accountable for their own workload. You're having to step in and do their workload, which is not a part of yours.
Yes.
Okay. Have you spoken to the leadership about it? Have you spoken to your immediate supervisor about it?
I spoke to the principal about it. Think it was like last year sometime about, doing a whole lot of stuff when other people should be doing their job. People should know job titles, especially when it comes to a principal of the school. You should know exactly who's supposed to be doing what and what exactly their job title is. So, when I brought it to that person's attention, me thinking that something was going to get done about it, nothing never changed. It still, go back to, oh, only certain people needs to continue to do certain things and other people just, do whatever they want to do. So there's no change. So that's why I just feel there's no sense in going back and rehashing the issue again.
Okay. Well, what about your, I understand you didn't want to revisit the situation with leadership, but have you tried to uh, give it to your supervisor to let them kind of deal with it, or let them try to speak on your behalf because I understand it could be frustrating to want to keep talking about it to the same people and nothing is being done. So sometimes we have to let the people who can speak on your behalf deal with some of the issues that you're dealing with or experiencing. So I think that will be one solution, at least to get it addressed, because being overwhelmed is a quick way to get burnt out. And in our profession, being burned out it's gonna happen. But we can slow it down and not be burned out as fast, but we want to make sure that um, we don't get penalized. So we want to make sure that we're not burning ourselves out faster than we really should be, because being a counselor, you're going to get burnt out because it's a day in, day out, thankless job sometimes. Sometimes it can be rewarding, but a lot of times it's thankless because that's what they expect us to do. That's what we're trained to do. We're trained to take care of other people um, to some degree. Now, how are you doing with your own self care?
I guess the only thing I do when it comes to self-care is just walk. I know when I'm at work, sometimes I just leave up out my office when I get overwhelmed and just walk the halls or just go try to find something else to do. That seems to work sometimes, but then sometimes when you're out in the hallway, you get dragged in this area and that area because somebody's always needing you to do something.
So have you found that walking um, inside the building, it helps, or it does it solve a problem? Does it put a band-aid on the problem, or do you think it actually is working?
I think it's just putting a band-aid on the problem because one thing that I have noticed is that being out in the hallway, time somebody sees you out there, okay, forget about what you have going on or forget about what you need to do right now. I need you right now to handle this situation or to do this. So that's why I would say it's probably just put a band-aid on the problem for them because yes, I will forget about what I'm getting frustrated or overwhelmed about, and then I just try to focus on whatever the person who just called me need me to do. So
Okay, so I think you definitely need to try to begin walking outside the building. Give that a try. That way, you are able to decompress and get your thoughts out, or even just not have to think about it outside the building. And I'm sure if they need you, they know you're not gone. They'll figure something out until you get back inside the building. And also, if you're letting your supervisor know, hey, I'm just going to take a walk outside the building because I need to release some stress or get my thoughts together, my head together. That would be a good idea. And that way, your immediate supervisor will be able to cover for you until you actually get back. But being inside the building obviously is not helping you with your own self care. And if you like walking and enjoy walking, then outside the building would be a better thing for you. I think at this point, just so you'll know, we're not putting a band-aid on. I'm actually getting something out of this by me walking. Okay.
right.
Now you also being overworked. Let's talk about that. Tell me about that.
I guess when it comes to being overworked, it's just doing a whole lot of things that I feel as a counselor that I should not be doing. Like, for instance, we have probably almost 900 some students in the school, and majority of my day is focused on making sure the records are there or making sure we have everything for the students inside their record. When I feel as a counselor, that's something that I should not be doing. That's something that, somebody else in the building that should be doing. That way I can focus on my students and do what I need to do for my students, especially like if there's a crisis or something that's going on. I'm not focused on a record. They can always pull me and say, Belle, we need you for this student. Can you come? So that's what I prefer to be doing, classroom guidance, one-on-one sessions with students and stuff. That's what I prefer majority of my time to go to instead of majority of my day or week going towards making sure records and stuff are getting done.
Okay, I can definitely understand you there. I know you. We did not go to school to do records. I understand that. I don't even think it was a part of the curriculum, but yet I guess you're being made to do records. And you did mention someone in the building can do the records or should be responsible for the records, but they're not doing it, and you're being made to do it, which which can totally be something that will make you feel like you're being overworked. So I get that part. But let's talk about the records. Have you, once again, possible solution, have you spoken to your immediate supervisor and explained to them about your role and how you can benefit more, or the students can benefit more by with you not having to worry about dealing with records when it's clearly someone else's responsibility, and uh, you're having to do it because the person who's responsible for it is not willing to do it or will not do it. I think your supervisor, your immediate supervisor, should be that person that you speak with, and always make sure that you're documenting these conversations, because at the end of the day, you don't want anyone to say that, hey, we never talked about it or she never told us if you were to end up having a meltdown or a breakdown, and where you had to just wanted to walk away, and it sounds like you're almost at that point. If you're not at that point, but it sounds like you may be at that point where you're just ready to walk away, and we definitely don't want that, because I think we would I think anybody would be proud to have you on their team, knowing what you bring to the table. So I encourage you to, once again, speak with your immediate supervisor, make them understand your roles and responsibilities, because a lot of times the administrative team that don't know your roles and responsibility because they've never been in that situation. They've never been a school counselor. We have our own little world that we have to deal with, and it's hard to let someone in it because we're sworn to so much, not necessarily secrecy, but privacy, and we have to keep all of that stuff in. So we not only are we dealing with our own personal things, but we're having to deal with others and their personal issues. So we want to make sure that our supervisor or your supervisor understands your actual role in within the process, and how they can help you be a better counselor to the students, and how the students can benefit from you being available for them and to them without having to worry about records when there's clearly someone inside the building who's responsible for that. Okay, so let's make that be our first priority, is go ahead and speak with our supervisor, with your immediate supervisor, on what you can do or how they can help you or be a voice for you in order to get the ball moving in the right direction for you, so you don't have to worry about walking away. And then no one wins at that point, because the students are not going to be benefiting from anyone at that point.
Yes.
Okay. So I understand those being overwhelmed and overworked. Do you have any other issues that you dealt with within the last week or so that you were unclear about how to proceed, how to move forward with it? And
I
I can,
have I have a situation now with a student that mom want this student to be virtual, which the student's going to be virtual, but her other three siblings are in person at school. I guess my issue is doing the virtual counseling in the student IEP. They want the students to have this student to have 3 sessions a week for at least 30 minutes. I spoke to the SPED chair yesterday, and I was like, that's going to be impossible to do. I said, we can probably try to start off doing 1 session a week for at least 15 minutes. And I see that the student need more time. I can try to increase at least twice a week for 15 minutes. Reason why I think it's going to be a problem, I had a student last semester that was virtual. And I had to do 1 session with her for 15 minutes once a week. And it was just hard to do, because some days, I scheduled this meeting for the student every Monday at 11 o'clock. So there on some Mondays, the mother was like, oh, I'm not at home, so we can't do the meeting. Or if I call the next day, the mom's like, oh, well, she's at this person's house, so try to call this number. When I try to call that number, I can't get in contact with anybody. And so to me, it's just going to be hard, especially with our students being online for I know with this student, she's going to be online for AM. So in the morning time, she's going to be online, and then she's going to have a connection class. And so I just think it's not going to be doable to try to do a session virtual with a student, which I'm going to try my best. But I just think with the kids that I have in the school, that I have to make sure that I'm giving them their session. I just think it's going to be hard for me to try to come up with a 15-minute session with a student that's going to be virtual when I already experienced and know how the situation is going to end.
okay, so I heard you say you talked to the SPED chair. Have they discussed doing a modification to the student's IEP in order to be more practical and have the student still be able to be served, but in a different capacity. I would suggest maybe start out with 15 minutes a week, and then if you need more, then we'll adjust as we go. But I think, yeah, 30 minutes 3 times a week is overkill, and it's definitely going to be hard for you to deal with that with someone who's online, because they're already having to be on the computer for 4 hours a day, and then you're going to add another 30 minutes or so, maybe every other day to that, that's going to be overkill for them. They're not going to want to do it, and they're not going to give you their undivided attention, and not going to want to participate like they're supposed to. So I would encourage you to speak back with the SPED chair and talk about the modification and tell them what you suggest, which will be better for the student. And when they talk with the mom, to get the mom to agree to that, because we want to maximize time, not minimize it. And if you're trying to get 30 minutes every other day for a student, they're definitely going to not be entertained by you. They're not going to want to actually deal with it that long, that many times. So it would be unproductive at that point. So I think you need to get with the SPED chair and talk about the modification being done. And if they can't modify it, and then, or if that's not on the table in the services that they're requesting via the IEP, and we have to move forward, I would think to speak with the coordinator, or special education coordinator, because I'm sure they would agree with you, because this is your field. You would know what's best for the child when it comes to dealing with counseling, and not them. So that's one solution that we can actually visit and talk about. I want you to go ahead and talk with them about, speak with the SPED chair first, and see if you can get that done. Also, and let me know about that come next week when we meet. Let me know how that works for you, or if that's even an option from the parents, because it's a simple talking to the parent. That is just as simple as that, because the parent and the student controls their own IEP. So the parent agrees, it shouldn't be any issues. The team should agree as well, and you will be a part of that team, simply because you're giving the counseling at that point in time. So I want to. Are there any other issues that you may be experiencing at this time? I know we speak. Go ahead.
I think that's it.
Okay. And I know that we talk a lot in dealing with a lot of things. Now that we're in a supervisee relationship, I think it'll be a lot easier for you to have someone to come to when you're dealing with some issues. And sometimes I can get involved as well if you don't get the results you're looking for by your immediate supervisor, things like that. I want to thank you for sharing with me. I want to reiterate self-care first. I want to make sure that you understand how important that is. I want to make sure that you are actually doing it, because it is for you. It's called self-care. It's for you to keep yourself sane, keep yourself healthy mentally. Okay, and being walking, so that definitely helps physically as well. So make sure that you're actually practicing it. And then we talked about you having to, or needing to, speak with your immediate supervisor. Let them be a voice for you when it comes to being overworked or overwhelmed. We want to make sure that they understand, because they need you on their team. And so they need to be a voice for you. You need to speak up for your subordinates or peers, whatever the case may be. Okay?
Okay.
So we will meet again next week, roughly the same time, and we'll discuss any other issues that you may have. I may throw some things at you to see how you understand them and deal with them, give you a couple scenarios. But other than that, if you don't have any more questions, I want to thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right. Do you have anything else?
No.
All righty. So thank you so much. And we will see you next week.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Let's start recording.